There was a time when gaming fit into your life, not the other way around. I could come home from school or work, boot up something like Halo 2, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, or even Super Mario 64, and within 2 minutes, I was playing. Not watching, not customizing, not tweaking 16 different sliders on a character's eyebrow setting, like actually playing the game. These games had a clear goal: get you in the action fast, let you play at your own pace, and walk away feeling that you've made progress, even if you only had 30 minutes to spare. Whether it was a quick match in Call of Duty 4, or a few races in Burnout 3, or knocking out a level in God of War 2, there was understanding that not every player had hours to kill. And most importantly, they respected that. They respected your time. Even RPGs from the era were tighter. Like games like Mass Effect, Dragon Age Origins, Final Fantasy X didn't waste your time with hundreds of meaningless side missions or overwhelming progression systems. And when you did something, it mattered. Let's compare that to today, where some games won't even let you play until you complete a 30-minute prologue, a forced stealth tutorial, a cutscene explaining the state of the world in excessive detail. Then, they drop you into the world full of icons, alerts, systems you don't even understand yet. I get it. Games are more complex now. Bigger worlds, deeper systems, fancier graphics, that's great. But somehow, along the way, the developers stopped asking the simple question: is this worth the player's time? And I don't think they're asking it enough anymore. Back then, even when games were long, they were designed in chunks, levels, missions, self-contained moments. You could knock out something meaningful in like 20 minutes. Now, you might spend 20 minutes just getting into the action. Or worse, wandering aimlessly trying to figure out what you're supposed to do next. You ever load into a game and it's been like a week since you last played, and you think to yourself, wait, where was I? And then you spend your time learning the mechanics again, reading the quest log, or aimlessly running around trying to get your bearings again. That's not on us. That's on the design. The truth is, many old gamers didn't waste a second, and that's a big part of it, and why we remember them fondly. It's not just nostalgia. It's a good design that understood. Look, time is valuable. Players are busy, and games should respect that. Now let's talk about the modern plague called bloat. Games today are bigger, but are they better? Let me be clear. I'm not against long games. I'm not against content. I'm against filler. There's a difference between a game that's long because it has a deep, rich world, and a game that's long because it's padded out with meaningless checklists, mindless grinding, and content that exists just to keep you playing longer and not enjoying it more. Let's look at some of the offenders here. Far Cry 6 has you taking down dozens of identical outposts, collecting random resources, doing the same enemy wave defense over and over. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, over 100 hours of content, yet the vast majority of it feels like a copy and paste busy work with minor variations. Hogwarts Legacy, a game I actually liked, still fell into this trap, recycling enemy encounters, hiding progression behind fetch quests, and requiring repetitive activities to pad out the map. It's like modern games are afraid of being small. Developers keep chasing this idea that more is better, but the truth is, more is just more. Then you add the overcomplicated crafting system, or the useless gear upgrades, or the collectibles that don't do anything meaningful. 5 different currencies, each tied to a specific vendor you barely interact with. And don't even get me started on the menus. Some games today feel like accounting software instead of games. What happened to just playing the game? It used to be pick up a sword, swing it, boom, fun. Now it's upgrade the sword with 5 different materials, but only after researching a blueprint you get from a side quest that unlocks when you talk to the right NPC on Thursday night during a seasonal event. I'm exaggerating. Barely. And let's talk about tutorials. Some games take hours before they really let go of your hand. You're still learning mechanics 5 hours in. I'm looking at you, Final Fantasy XIV. I don't need 20 tutorials on how to press a single button. Or games that pretend you're free, but quickly punish you for not grinding. They'll say, you can go straight to the final boss if you want, but what they mean is you can try to go straight to the final boss and get absolutely destroyed because your gear is garbage and the last 15 hours of the side quest were actually mandatory. It's misleading. It's bloated. It's disrespectful. The worst part, all this bloated design isn't accidental. It's strategic, right? The longer you stay in the game, the more likely you are to buy cosmetics, season passes, XP boosts, or just stay in their ecosystem. It's not about experience anymore. It's about the retention metric. And that's when gaming started to feel like a trap instead of joy. Look, you have responsibilities, a job. Maybe you have kids, a spouse, friends you like to see, a dog that wants to get walked. And between all of that, you try to squeeze in some gaming for fun, to relax, But a lot of the modern gaming act like I'm some kind of content devouring machine with endless hours and no obligations. Games today just don't ask for a few hours of your time. They demand dozens and sometimes hundreds of hours. You ever try finishing a massive open world RPG while working a full-time job? It's like taking on a part-time gig with no paycheck. And what's worse is if you don't keep playing regularly, you forget the controls, you forget the story, and by the time you come back, you feel completely lost. I can't tell you how many games I've dropped halfway through because it wasn't enjoying them, because life got in the way and that game didn't make it easy to jump back in. There's a weird assumption that everyone's playing games has infinite amount of time, but we don't. Life is busy. I want games that respect that. Respect my time. Games used to design around completion. You bought it, you played it, you finished it. Make a game, sell a game. Now, many games are built around retention. Not fun, not storytelling, not quality gameplay, just keeping you in the loop as long as possible. I don't want to feel like I'm falling behind in a hobby, but these days, if you're not keeping up with the daily quests, the login bonuses, the event cycles, the battle pass progression, it's easy to feel like you're being punished for having a real life. And let's not even start with the multiplayer grind heavy games. You take a week off and suddenly your friends are 10 levels ahead, the meta has changed, and you feel like an anchor just for logging in. That's not fun. That's stress. I shouldn't need to take PTO to enjoy the game. That's paid time off, by the way. But that's what it's starting to feel like. And listen, I know there are gamers out there who do want 300-hour experiences, and that's fine. But let those experiences be optional, not the standard. Give us more games that can be completed in 8 to 15 hours and still feel satisfying without breaking the bank, right? There's nothing wrong with a game that respects your time and lets you move on to the next one. Because right now, gaming feels like a lifestyle, and I just wanted a hobby. Now let's get into the worst trends in modern gaming, FOMO, the fear of missing out. This is one of the most powerful tools used to keep players hooked, and it's everywhere now. It used to be you play when you want, you finish what you enjoy, and you walk away satisfied. But now, log in daily for your bonus. Event ends in 48 hours. Unlock this exclusive skin or it's gone forever. It's not about playing for fun anymore. It's about not missing out. And that's a terrible reason to play a game. These systems prey on your sense of urgency. If you don't grind now, you'll lose progress. If you lose rewards, you'll fall behind. It's designed to create anxiety, okay? And that should never be an emotional core of a hobby. Let's take a battle pass. I don't hate the idea in theory. You pay for a season, you earn the stuff by playing, fair enough. But now every battle pass is 100 plus tiers, full of filler and the time gated with the challenges and required daily or weekly play. And it's not just multiplayer games, even single player games are starting to adopt this mindset. You want to upgrade your gear? Do this random side quest. You want a good ending? Better 100% the map. You want to level up efficiently? Better check Reddit for the best grind loop. These tasks aren't fun. They're chores. Last time I checked, kids don't like doing chores, and neither do grown-ups, but you got to do them. And sure, you can technically ignore them, but the game punishes you for either an underpowered characters, missed content, or a sense that you're not playing it the right way. And the only way to play efficiently is to grind, to optimize, or follow a guide that's a failure in design. Here's a thought. Not every quest needs to be a checklist. Not every unlock needs to be a countdown. Not every game needs a freaking seasonal roadmap. You know what I miss? Games where I felt like I was in control. Games where I could log in once a week or once a month and still feel welcome, still have fun, still make meaningful progress. That's rare now. And this addiction to seasonal FOMO content, it's not healthy. It turns players into workers and it turns developers into content factories, pumping out engagement loops instead of real innovation. And don't get me started on the limited time modes and the collaborations. You didn't log in during the Taco Bell week. Sorry, you missed out the flaming burrito skin for the AR. It's exhausting. It's manipulative. And personally, I'm over it. All right, so let's talk about the myth that's ruining modern game design. More is better. Somewhere along the way, publishers and studios got stuck in this mindset that bigger equals better. Bigger maps, more missions. More collectibles, more systems. But here's the truth. More content doesn't mean more value if the content isn't meaningful. Take open world games, for example. You got games bragging about how their map is twice the size of Skyrim, 150 hours of gameplay, 700 collectibles, a dynamic weather system with realistic puddle physics. That's cool and all, but do I need 70-hour fetch quest marathon just to reach the final mission? Or a map so big that I spent 15 minutes riding my horse to the next quest marker? If all the extra space is filled with copy-paste content, then guess what? It's not a rich experience. It's just time sink. And the worst part is how many games are afraid to be a tight and focused game. A shorter, well-paced game gets digged on by the reviewers or players. It's only 10 hours? Yeah, and those 10 hours were awesome. I'll take that over a 60-hour game where 40 hours are padding, 5 hours are fun, and the rest of it, you're climbing towers to unlock fast travels. We've been trained to measure value by the hour, but gaming isn't fast food. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. Some of the best games that I've ever seen in the last few years respect people's time because they trimmed the fat. Dead Space remake, 10 to 12 hours of tightly paced, unforgettable horror. Okay, Hi-Fi Rush, stylist, smart, and doesn't overstate its welcome. Marvel Spider-Man 2, a big open world, but not bloated. You can knock out one side quest and feel meaningful and be done in 20 or 25 hours. And then you got the opposite. You got Ghost Recon Breaking Point, massive map, endless repetition. You have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where gorgeous, but over 100 hours if you want to see it all, and 80% of it's copy-pasted. Redfall, big town, nothing to do. If your game takes 100 hours to finish, but I'm bored for 70 of those hours, is it really worth my time? Was it really worth your time making it? I remember when finding a collectible meant something. Like in Banjo-Kazooie or Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, you find a hidden item, and it felt like a reward. You felt progression. You felt like you could check out after that. Now, 200 feathers, 300 memory fragments, 150 question marks on the map, and what do you get for collecting all of them? Maybe a new skin? Or an achievement? Or a slightly different ending? Congratulations, you just spent 20 hours collecting virtual junk. It's all smoke and mirrors. It feels like there's more to do, but you're just running the same errands in a slightly different clothing. And the worst part, if you don't do all of it, the game makes you feel like you missed something. As if you didn't fully experience it unless you ticked every single box. You've turned rich, immersed worlds into giant spreadsheets. I don't know about you, but I didn't buy a $70 game to do unpaid admin work. All right, enough ranting. Let's shift gears. Because not every game is guilty of. Some devs still get it. They understand that games should fit into your life, not take it over. There are games out there that respect your time. They deliver rich, rewarding experiences without stretching things out just to say, hey, they have 100 hours of content. Let me give you a few standouts. Hi-Fi Rush, a rhythm action game with style, charm, and pure joy packed into 10 to 12 hours. No fluff. Every level is fresh. Every encounter matters. You can play in bursts or binge the whole thing in a weekend. And either way, you'll feel like you got your money's worth. Hades. This is a roguelike that nails replayability without wasting your time. Runs are short, 20 to 40 minutes, but every single one moves the story forward and unlocks gear or adds lore. You're not just grinding, you're growing. Look, the Dead Space remake. Tense, linear, beautiful paced, around 12 to 15 hours to finish, and not a single wasted moment. No open world padding, just pure survival horror with modern polish. Resident Evil 4 remake. Another great example. Big enough to feel meaty, but short enough to be manageable, right? You finish the campaign and you want to replay it? Not because of the battle pass or the checklist, but because it's fun. Spider-Man 2. This one proves that even open world games can respect your time. Fast travel is instant, side quests are meaningful, and the story doesn't take 60 hours to complete. It trims the fat without losing the magic. And then there's others too, like Portal 2, Titanfall 2's campaign, The Outer Worlds, Stray, Inside, Split Fiction. Split Fiction is amazing. The way they really tune in of what the core of the gameplay is and the story. These games don't try to trap you. They respect you. They give you the choice to play on your terms. No mandatory grinding, no FOMO, no 300-hour commitment, just great gameplay, storytelling, and design that values your time. And guess what? These games are memorable. They don't blur together like 60 hours of repetitive side quests. You remember them because they were focused, intentional, and respected your time, your schedule, and your life. And if more developers did that, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So what do? How do we fix this? Because let's be honest, complaining only goes so far. If we really want change, we have to start demanding it with our voices, with our time, with our wallets. So 1, support games that respect your time. There are games out there, plenty actually, that don't waste your time. Indies, double A's, and even some big publishers are starting to catch on. Games like Hades, Hi-Fi Rush, Dead Cells, Jedi Survivor, Spider-Man 2 respect your time with tight pacing, meaningful progression, and no bloat. They value quality over quantity. And they trust that you'll come back not because of the psychological tricks, but because the game is actually good. These are the games that we should be promoting, playing, and telling others about. If a game respects your time, say so, share it, reward it. 2. Stop rewarding the grind and don't fall into the trap of feeling like you have to log in daily to grind a battle pass to justify a purchase. That's psychological, they're counting on. If the content isn't fun, meaningful, or rewarding in a satisfying way, walk away. You're not obligated to get your money's worth by giving a game hours of your life just to get a digital trinket. Okay? Your time is worth more than that. 3, you got to push back with constructive feedback. Developers need feedback, especially the ones who actually care. Let them know what's working and what isn't. If a progression system feels like it's wasting your time, say so. Be loud but respectful. If enough players speak up and changes happen, we've seen it in games like No Man's Sky, Cyberpunk, and even Halo Infinite. Games that rework systems, progressions, and monetization because the community spoke up. 4, we need more options, not more hours. Not every game needs to be 100 hours long. Let players customize difficulty, okay? Grind, pacing, add shortcuts for those who want to get to the point. Let us experience a full scope of the game without locking us behind time gates or weekly resets. Give us more control, not more chores. 5, normalizing and quitting games without guilt. You don't owe any game 60 hours of your life just because it's long or popular. If you're not enjoying it, move on. There's no shame in bouncing off something that doesn't respect your time. That mindset shift that we choose what deserves your time is the most powerful fix of all. Final thought, the fix isn't just a game design. It's how we value our own time. And when you set boundaries, speak up, and reward the games that get it right, we shift the industry, slowly but surely, towards better practices. Games should be a source of joy, escape, and excitement. Not another job, not a second inbox, not a time sink. It's time the industry remembered that. Let me know what game most respected your time in the comments section down below. Let's highlight the good ones. Let's call out the bad ones together. If you like what you see here, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you can become a member as little as $5. We do a morning show Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just go over news stories, have conversations. If you like it, like I said, come on by, check it out, and thanks for watching. See you on the next one.